Sam and Jordan, you're talking nonsense this morning, saying things like no one but Fury beats Wilder and no one can now touch Fury. That's all speculation. Why has Fury's stock suddenly risen for beating the same guy 3 times?
His stock was already high, and it's been high for some time. He's the guy that went over to beat Klitschko when Klitschko was a live one. He's the guy that took on Wilder when no one else wanted any piece of him. He's the guy that's beat Wilder 3 times. You know, with the greatest respect in the world, whilst I have a great deal of admiration for Anthony Joshua, every time it gets a bit difficult for Anthony, he finds himself in a difficult situation. Ruiz, Usyk, Dillian White worried him. You know, so with the best will in the world, the most difficult fight that we've seen in the last 5 years has been Fury's 3-year campaign with Wilder. So that's the reasons why he gets the credibility, because he's the guy that opened up the heavyweight division by beating Vladimir Klitschko when Klitschko was the incumbent champion.
I mean, Aaron, the Manchester United fan, knows his boxing. He says, I have to say, normally 99% agree with Simon's views, but his comments about Fury and putting him up where he's putting him up there this morning is pretty much laughable. He's very lucky to be around in the heavyweight game when there really is basically no one worth fighting. He says he's the best of a bad bunch. Put him in the same era as Lewis, Tyson,
but that's a different argument,
Holyfield. He wouldn't be mentioned.
But that's a different argument.
I think he would be mentioned.
Yeah.
But it is a different argument, and it's subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is subjective.
I mean, Riddick Bowe, right? You mean the one that ran away from fighting Lennox Lewis? That Riddick Bowe.
That's the
who
one.
dropped his belts in the bin. That Riddick Bowe, yeah?
Liverpool fan Tony would never run away from us. In fact, he's running to us. Tony, good morning.
Morning, lads. Hope you're well.
Good
Morning, Tony.
Tony, you always come on like that. Morning, lads. Hope you're well. No matter what the topic is, I love that. What have you got to say for yourself, Anthony?
He's magnificent, Jim. Magnificent boxer. Great lad. His old fella says it as it is. And he's right. Fury now is untouchable. You look at the size, the footwork, the slick movement of his head. He never moves forward and backwards in straight lines, always angles. He's like a huge version of Usyk. You have to remember, only a few weeks ago, Tyson Fury was basically sleeping in Alder Hey Children's Hospital here in Liverpool after his daughter was transferred from Blackpool to Alder Hey. And him and his dad, John, John will tell you this, they were training in a local park right next to Alder Hey Hospital. That was the only way Tyson could get any sessions in.
Is that right, Tony? I didn't know that.
Ring John. If John's still listening now, he'll text you back now and tell you that's the truth.
Wow.
They were struggling to get sessions in. The only thing Tyson could do was do some runs in the park and do some doggies and things like that. That's all he could do, because he didn't even know if he could go and take the fight. He's nowhere near fit. He was nowhere near fit for this fight, and yet he had the engine to go with a fully fit Wilder, who had a lot to win, obviously, and a huge amount to lose.
Yes.
Just makes you...
Jim, honestly, the size of him. People talk about Ali, they talk about Evander Holyfield. Tyson Fury, just swat them away. Swat them. He's too big, too strong. He'll bully you, he'll walk you into the ropes, and he'll just burn your energy. That's what he'll do.
Tony, here's Danny.
Joshua, forget it.
Here's one of your idols.
I was only going to say, imagine him super fit and super focused. How good he could be then. I was just saying, actually, Tony, to John about the fact that maybe now moving forward, the only person that can stop him is himself. If he gets in that comfort zone, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you make of what Tony was saying about where Tyson actually was training not that long ago?
I've seen all that. I've seen the documentary. I see Steve Bunce talking about it regularly, about the fact that he was sleeping on the floor of the hospital ward where his daughter was in, and all the challenges that must have gone on psychologically there. But going back to the fighter that we saw, people are going to turn around and say this is all saccharine and sentiment. It's not saccharine and sentiment. This is the best heavyweight right now. And this is the best heavyweight because of a variety of reasons, because of his engine to go 12 rounds, or 11 rounds in this instance, and do it in the manner that he did, illustrates what a phenomenal athlete he is.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't just stand there and slug, he moves. He makes fighters look silly.
Yeah. I know about sentiment. What's saccharin?
Saccharin is a sweet way of looking at the world.
I thought it was a soluble aspirin.
No, saccharin is a sweet sugar substitute, isn't it?
I was going to say it's a sugar substitute. Get it?
Don't try and
be
smart,
Jimbo. That was fizzy drink. Have a look on your next can of Diet Coke.
Cornelius, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Simon Jordan has said something that is extremely vital, and he's used the word undisputed.
Yeah.
The last undisputed heavyweight in our country was Lennox Lewis.
Yep.
And for Tyson Fury, he never lost the belts in the ring that AJ have had, that just lost against Usyk. They were taken from him.
Yep.
And in 20 years' time, when people talk about this era of boxing, I genuinely believe that Tyson Fury needs to be retired as undisputed heavyweight champion. And to do that, he's got to get the belts off either Usyk or Anthony Joshua, which I think he will do anyway. And as Simon was saying just now, I watched the fight live, and Tyson Fury's engine in 11 rounds, but a guy weighing in at 280 pounds, was unbelievable. He's got the strength of a lion, and no way will Usyk anti-Joshua put this man down. I cannot see it.
Sure.
I honestly think in his career, looking back in history, he has to finish. He totally deserved, in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight of all time.
And Cornelius, if he fights White, it's got to be here, hasn't it, in the UK?
100%. All the fights should be in the UK. The UK are holding the belts.
That's a good point.
I think as well, you know, when you talk about the engine, physicality, there's one thing having the engine, and it's also having the mental resilience to be able to trigger that, you know, to fight through that pain.
But he's
barrier.
also having an engine after taking huge punches that have knocked him down.
Yes.
And he talks about Lennox
That's the
Lewis.
mental
I
resilience.
followed Lennox around the world, and I watched him get beat by Hazim Rahman. Watched him get beat by Oliver McCall. I don't see Fury having an Oliver McCall or a Hazim Rahman moment.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening for him.
Okay.
Do you follow people a lot?
Lennox Lewis said you were annoying. You were following him everywhere.
Do I follow people or not? No, I don't. I just like boxing, so I went and watched a lot of boxing.
Okay. Yeah. Ian Wyatt. It's a good point, actually, Simon. With the Saudis in at St James's Park, surely St James's Park comes into the equation now. They can afford a huge
give it a
service
rest.
fee involved. Well, it's true, isn't it?
No,
It's
it'll never
true.
happen. It's deader than a dead thing from Deadlands.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.